Are you brand new to the Five Nights at Freddy's series and haven't played any of them? This is the guide for you. I will be going over the basics to getting the most out of Ultimate Custom Night without having any prior experience with the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. So stay tuned and we're going to get right into it. The first thing I'm going to go over is some very basic controls to start enjoying the game. For the sake of this guide, I'm going to be teaching you about the 4 basic characters here. So I'm not going to bog you down with the entirety of the controls like you've probably already seen booting the game up. There's so many to memorize, and I think it can really distract you from learning the basics. So let's get right into it. If you want to follow along, you can, in fact, launch a game with no characters selected, so that's what we're going to do now. The very basic controls are move your mouse left or right to look around your office. The space bar will turn off your fan. The A key will lower this door here. This is one you'll actually need for the basic characters. The D key will close this door here. You won't have to worry about it too much. F closes this vent right here. And W closes this vent right here. And if you need to go back to the main menu, you have to hold down the escape button, not just press it. With the very basic controls out of the way, let's go in and describe some of the UI elements as well as some of the basic controls outside of just your keyboard. Okay, so one thing you can do, especially when you're only playing with the beginning characters, is hit space to turn off your fan. Now, you'll see down here in the bottom right is your temperature. It's going up, but with the 4 basic characters, there is no penalty for leaving this capped out. This right here is your time. If you make it to 6 a.m., congratulations, you win. Now, the big one over here is, the big one over here is your power. If that runs out, you're not going to be able to use your defenses. Now, a big thing that caused me a big problem was this one. If you move your mouse over here, you'll bring up your tablet. When you see this blinking, you do need to click it, or you will eventually pass out. If you happen to space it and you do get blacked out, you can actually, with a little bit of practice, reset the ventilation without actually being able to see it. And I will show that here. We're going to let the bird go by. We're not quite ready to talk about him yet. So you see, we've completely blacked out. That's what happens if you don't reset it. But if you're crafty, you can mouse over that and click it where it's supposed to be. Obviously, it's a lot easier to just not let it happen in the first place. Your mask is another mechanic that you're not really going to have to worry about with the basic characters. But just so you understand what's going on in case you do it by accident or whatnot, the left button here, you can flip your mouse over real quick, it's on your mask. You'll need to do this for some of the characters from the second game, I believe. Alright, here I just want to touch briefly a little bit more in depth about the fan. Uses power and creates noise. Noise is another mechanic that's not going to affect you if you're still learning the game with the basic characters that I recommended. And there is absolutely no penalty that I'm aware of or could find for just letting the room be really hot. Yeah, it's probably uncomfortable for your character, but they're gonna survive and so are you. Alright, for this one I'm going to talk about the power generator. The power generator is just a little bit of an advantage you can give yourself when you're first learning, but it is something you're going to have to learn to micromanage quite well when you're really starting to crank up the difficulty. Alright, and what that does here is you can push 1 to turn on the power generator, and although it does not increase your power, it reduces the rate at which it is consumed at the cost of noise, which, as I mentioned already, isn't something that you actually have to worry about just yet. If you want to make sure it is on, you can come in here. There's other things you can click on. These other ones do not really apply just yet, so you can just turn on the power generator when you're first learning how to play and just leave it on for the whole night. Alright, the last 2 things I would like to talk about before I start going into the characters is a small parrot that can fly across your screen and a character known as Dee Dee. They're both random events that, unless you are using some of the power-ups, have a chance of happening, because there is Dee Dee repellent that can stop her from appearing, so you may want to use that from time to time while you're still getting used to the game to prevent her from spawning, because what she does is she activates a random character that was turned off. So in the middle of the night when you're still learning the characters, that can be a bit of a pain, but once you get the hang of the game, or at least the basics of the game, I think it would be really fun to actually just let Dee Dee turn on the characters, and that could sort of be how you learn them one at a time, just by practicing and letting her activate them sort of naturally. So we're gonna wait a little bit and let them show up, and I'll jump there when we're ready. Alright, right here is the bird.
Yar, you win some, you lose some. Yar, you play with fire.
It doesn't always work out,
you get burned.
as you just saw. However, sometimes he will actually give you a small gift. I don't know the exact percentage. It's not terribly often that it fails, so I recommend clicking on the bird when you're first starting out. Alright, that's the pair I was talking about. If you click on it, you can get a gift. When you're first learning, I recommend taking the power. Because the other 3 things refer to the mechanics that you have not started using yet. You can very faintly... Alright, so this right here is Dee Dee I was talking about. She's gonna do her little song, and then someone random's gonna appear. And if you're still learning the characters, you're probably in for a bad time. Alright. With the basics out of the way, we are now going to start going over the characters. So the way I'm going to do this is we're going to talk about Freddy first, and then Chica, and then we'll do Bonnie and Foxy together, because they kind of coexist. That'll make more sense when we get there. But let's start with the face everyone on the internet recognizes by now, Freddy Fazbear himself. He's a pretty straightforward character to deal with. What he does is he simply creeps up after you through this camera 1, which is the left door hallway. So I'm going to time-lapse right here and let you see him approaching, and then we'll deal with him when he gets there. And right here we have Fazbear. That's as close as he can get. When he gets that close, close the door with the A button, and you'll hear that thump to know that he's gone. Once you hear that thud, you'll want to open the door back up, so you're not using up unnecessary power. Now see, as you can see here, he's got about 4 or 5 positions he goes through, and if you fail to deal with him, sorry to say, but you're dead. Okay, so the character we're going to discuss next is actually the one I've had the most difficulties with in my Let's Plays. If you're interested in watching that, I'll link it at the end of the video, and let's keep going. Alright, so Chica has 2 ways that she will kill you. The first is if you fail to change her music when she gets bored, she's going to come after you. You can tell she's bored because her clanging in here in the kitchen, which is audio only, and on camera 4. So you'll have to be careful, especially considering sometimes she doesn't actually stop, it just gets a little quieter. Alright, so here we're going to time-lapse a little bit and wait for her to stop clanging. Alright, so she stopped now. You need to click change music, and she'll immediately go back to making noise so you know that it worked. However, there is another way that Chica can kill you. If she's not bored with the music and you change it, sorry friends, you're in for a very bad night. The final thing we're going to talk about is Bonnie and Foxy, and then you'll be ready to try your first game, or your 10th one if you was already messing around before you found this. So, Bonnie and Foxy both reside in Pirate Cove. Now, you want to look at Foxy to stop him from coming, but you don't want to look at Bonnie or he'll become agitated and come after you. The way you can tell who is in the cove is right here, this little doll on your desk. So, Pirate Cove is camera 5. I recommend that you do not close your tablet with it still on camera 5. The reason for that being is, if we close it here, and oh no, now it's Bonnie, when I open my tablet up, they're gonna be a little upset. Bonnie seems to be the easiest character to deal with though, because he doesn't... I've never actually had him kill me. I've had him scare me quite a few times, but he's a bit more forgiving than the other characters. So see, here you can see Foxy is starting to come out of the cove, and I'm going to quickly do a time lapse and demonstrate to you what it looks like if you're not properly dealing with Foxy. Alright, so see, Foxy is finally gone, and although he won't immediately kill you, he is going to start appearing in your office piece by piece. And every time you have to open up the tablet or look away, there is a chance that more and more of him is going to keep appearing. So losing track of Foxy isn't necessarily a game over. You'll just have to really be careful about taking your eyes off of him at this point. See, there's a little bit more of him. Here's his body. So he's probably about to get us. Oh, and see, even though he was there, we technically did survive. One thing I want to touch on briefly before I stop here is you're probably noticing these little coins. There was another one. You can mouse over them to pick them up. They're another mechanic that you don't really need to deal with yet, but they're there if you do end up picking them up and you're wondering what they're for. Alright. As always, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Let me know down in the comments below if it helped you and if there's some other aspects you'd like a guide on. Before I go, I would like to highlight some fan art. Boom. Boom. I think it's wonderful. The support from you guys. It's just really my favorite part about doing this for sure. If you're new around here though, subscribe, ting the little bell, join the crew, and let's cause a ruckus together. I'll see you guys soon.